Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Inshallah, what we'll do some review from An-Nahw al-Wadih. I'm not sure where we left off last time, and no matter where we left off, it's been a while. So what we'll do is we'll just run through all the qawaid, all the rules that we've had so far, starting at the beginning. If you have any questions, we'll stop. Otherwise, we'll just run through them. And then whenever we finish this week or next week, then we'll start on the new rules, inshallah. Okay, al-Qa'idat al-Ula, the first one. First rule. Qa'ida is rule, Qawa'id rules. التركيب الذي يفيد فائدة تامة يسمى جملة مفيدة ويسمى أيضا كلاما. The first rule is that the combination of words which benefits a complete benefit, meaning it gives the reader a complete benefit. We don't just say Muhammad and then what about Muhammad? We don't know what we're talking about. Rather, there's a combination of words, two or more, right? Then this is called a jumlatun. Huh?
Where's that? The combination of words.
A tarkib. Tarkib is rakaba, right? Meaning to put something together.
Okay.
Rakaba. For instance, if you go to IKEA and you buy a bookshelf, if you want to pay for the tarkib, meaning for them to put the shelf together, you can. They'll take the parts and put them together. So tarkib is to put something together. The combination of things, right? Alladhi, which yufidu fa'idatan tamatan, which benefits a complete benefit. Tama, complete benefit. Meaning, like we said, the reader is not needing more. Not that they don't want more. If I say Muhammad is a messenger of Allah, you might want more information about him. But if that's all I want to say, at least you have one complete idea about Muhammad, meaning he's the messenger of Allah. You have a complete idea. You have a complete benefit. Yusamma, it's called jumlatan mufidatan, a beneficial sentence, or maybe we would say in English a complete sentence, but in Arabic it says a beneficial sentence, right? Meaning it left the reader with the benefit and he does not need more information. Now, we said that this has to be made up of two or more words, right? As we'll get that in the next qaida here, number 2. However, for instance, if I say, what is your name? Masmuka, and you say Abdullah, even though you only said one word, or technically maybe two if you say Muhammad, we'll say one word. Technically you said one word, but in reality you said Ismi Muhammad. My name is Muhammad. Even if you only said your name. Because it's understood from the context. So for instance, if I say, do you want to go to Mecca? هل تريد أن تذهب إلى مكة? And you say Naam. You only said one word. However, Naam, and what is understood, Uridu and Adhaba ila Mecca. I want to go to Mecca. So therefore, that one word could be a tarkib, even though you only said one word. The meaning or the understanding is built up of more than one word. So this is called a jumla mufida, or it's also called yusamma aydan kalaman. It's also called speech. Amongst the nuhat, the nahwiyin, those people of grammar, and this is called kalam. Otherwise, if I just started a sentence, we're just starting a conversation, I said Muhammad, that's not speech. I might have said a word, but grammatically I didn't say anything because it makes no sense. It's not made up of more than two words, two or more words. It doesn't give me a complete idea, so therefore it's just rambling. Like if someone went around Muhammad, tree, sky, dirt, food, that person just rambling, even though they said a bunch of words, they don't make up a complete idea. القاعدة الثانية الجملة المفيدة قد تتركب من كلمتين وقد تتركب من أكثر وكل كلمة فيها تعد جزءا منها. الجملة المفيدة, the beneficial sentence, the complete sentence. قد تتركب, قد here, because it's appearing before a present tense verb, means it could. It's not a emphasis here. It's it means it could be made up of or built from two words, كلمتين. وقد تتركب, and it could be built or made up of, consist of more, من أكثر, more than that. وكل كلمة, and every word, فيها, in the جملة مفيدة, this ha referring to the جملة المفيدة, تعد جزءا منها, is counted or considered a part, جزءا, like we memorize a juz of the Quran, not a juz, right, as we say before, a juz, right, a juz, a part. The Quran has 30 ajza, 30 juz, right, 30 parts. So every word is considered a part of that sentence. And then we're going to look at every word so we make sure that we pronounce it correctly. The purpose of studying this grammar for us is to be able to speak properly, to be able to understand the Quran properly. So therefore we're going to look at every single word of a sentence and figure out how to pronounce it properly and what is its purpose. That's what the grammarians do. How do we pronounce it properly, and what is its purpose in the sentence? Understood? Is that clear?
No. Go back. I want you to pronounce that first word in that second part. Go up. I can't see it.
I know. You gotta give me a second.
Okay.
Which word?
The first one, and number 2.
الجملة المفيدة.
Jumla 2. So it's a corn over the main.
Yes.
Okay. And a double.
الجملة المفيدة. Jumla means a sentence. Jumla, if you go to Sam's is a store, or Costco is a store where you can buy things in Jumla, in bulk. You usually don't buy toilet tissue by a 4-pack. You usually buy a 30-pack or something, right? In Sam's or Costco. So Jumla means bulk because it's a collection of something, right? It's a collection of something. So kalima is a word, and a jumla is a collection of kalimat. Right? It's a bulk of them. It's a group of them that come together to form something mufida. Right? If you say a jumla mufida, you could have a jumla ghayr mufida, one that's not beneficial. Like I said, someone just runs around saying it's tree, dog, cat, horse, food, drink, car. That's a bunch of words. That's a jumla of words, but it's not a jumla mufida. It's not a beneficial group of words. All right? Jumla, like we say, we have a jumla as one of our rules. Jumla ismiya. A Nominal sentence, a sentence that begins with a noun, we have a jumla al-fi'liya. When it begins with a verb. Right? Al-jumla mufida is a beneficial sentence, or as we say in English, a complete sentence. Right? The plural of jumla is jumal. Jumalun. Okay, this is a bunch of examples. Let me scroll down to the next page. This file is so big it's hard to scroll down.
إبراهيم الحصان يدائب إسماعيل الكتة.
No. We see all of those are built up of either 3 words or 2 words like that, right? Rakiba Ibrahim al-Hisan, 3 words. Across from that, number 5, submit to Nasiha, 2 words, right? Mm-hmm. Some words like number 4, Ta'kulu Shata, Fulin wa Sha'irin, 5.
That's what I hear or I understand the advice or something like that.
I heard past tense. Submit to. I heard the advice. We go down. You're going to see al-qaidatu al-thalitha. Let me go back up here. Like I said, getting it to fit is hard. Al-kalimatu thalathatu anwa. Words, the word or words are 3 types. Thalathatu anwa. Ismun wa fi'lun wa harfun. Nouns, verbs, and particles. Ism, asma. Fi'l, af'al. I'm doing the singular and the plural. Harf, huruf. Right? Harf, huruf. There's nouns, there's verbs, and there's particles. There's no fourth category. Only these 3. Number 1, al-ism. كل لفظ يسمى به إنسان أو حيوان أو نبات أو جماد أو أي شيء آخر. An ism is every love, every pronunciation, every word, right? Everything that you say. Love is like a, it could be word here, right? But it also could be pronunciation. So every word, yusamma bihi, which names with it, insan, a person, or hayawan, or an animal, or nabat, or a plant, or jamad, or an object, or ay shayan akhar, or any other thing. That's an ism. Something which names something. A word which names something. Al-fi'l, number ba here, should have a dot, right? Ba. Wal-fi'l, the verb, kullu lafdhin, every word or wording, yadullu ala husulu amalin fi zamanin khas, which points to the achievement or the doing of an action in a particular time. And as we'll find out, that's the past, the present, or the future. Fi'l, kullu lafdhin, every wording, yadullu ala, which leads or guides or points to the husul, the obtainment, the attainment, the doing of an action. عمل في زمن خاص, in a particular time. والحرف, letter جيم, the particle is كل لفظ, every wording. لا يظهر معناه كاملا إلا مع غيره, is every word which its meaning, معناه, its meaning is not clear, is not apparent, كاملا, completely apparent, إلا, except مع غيره, مع غيره rather, except with other than it. So as we said, min, wa ila, wa an, wa ala, wa fi, wa rubba. We don't know what these mean until they come in a sentence. Now we can in general say min means from, ila means to, ala means on, fi means in general. But when they come inside of a sentence, then we'll get the complete idea of what that word means. It may not mean may not mean from, ila might not mean to, ala might not mean on or above, and fi might not mean in. Rather, fi might mean above, and ala might mean in, or something like that, right?
No.
So that's the first three rules. Number 4. We're talking about the fi'l al-Madi here. Let me scroll down to the qaida.
Oh.
No problem. I'm sorry. الفعل الماضي هو كل فعل يدل على حصول عمل في زمن الماضي. في الزمن الماضي. الفعل الماضي, this is what it's called. الفعل الماضي. We'll say the past tense verb, right? It's every verb. هو كل فعل. It's every verb. يدل, which shows or points to على حصول عمل, the completion or the obtainment or the whatever, the doing of an action, في زمن الماضي, in the past tense. In the past tense. So a past tense verb is something where the action took place in the past. And Sheikh Salami likes to say, even if that was just a second ago. So for instance, I put that dot just now. I drew this circle just now. That was the past tense. Even though I just drew it, it's still the past tense. Even if it was 1 second ago when an action was done, it's the past tense. Clear? Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay. القاعدة خامسة. 5th rule. الفعل المضارع. This is the second type of verb. We have the الفعل الماضي. Now we have الفعل المضارع. هو كل فعل يدل على حصول عمل في زمن الحاضر أو المستقبل, ولا بد أن يكون مبدوءا بحرف من أحرف المضارع, وهي الهمزة والنون والياء والتاء. Remember, we're going to make a few points here inside of this, inshallah ta'ala. Number 1, فعل مضارع is every verb which points towards the obtainment of an action, the doing of an action. في زمن الحاضر, which is another word for مضارع, the present. Right? أو المستقبل. مستقبل is the future. مستقبل is the future. So for instance, يأكل it could mean he is eating, or it could mean he will eat, depending on the context. It's the same, right? The verb is going to be the same, and depending on the context, you will know if it's now or in the future. And he says, وَلَا بُدْ, meaning, and no doubt, أَنْ يَكُونَ مَبْدُوءًا, that it will be beginning with. Mabdu from bada'a yabda'u, bidaya, beginning. Biharf min ahraf. The second point I want to point out is that I said huruf, here he said ahraf. It's huruf or ahraf. Both of them are the plural of harf. Here he says ahraf, in Ajrumiya it says huruf. No problem, this or that. Both of them are plurals, right, of harf. ولا بد أن يكون مبدوءا بحرف من أحرف المضارعة. And no doubt that it must be beginning with a particle or a letter of مضارع, present tense, and they are the hamza, right, the noon.
You said mudariya.
Mudari'a, yeah, because it's, here we have al-fi'l, it's singular, right? So mudari' is going to be as singular and is masculine. So the adjective present is going to be singular and masculine. But ahruf is plural, and it's non-intellectual. So we're going to talk about it like it's feminine. So we add that ta marbuta, mudari'ah. Right?
Mudari'ah. We've got a fatha there.
Right. But mudari'ah, I don't know why it says mudara'ah. I think it should be mudari'ah because we have a kasra here. Allah knows best.
Okay.
Could be a typo or it could be something that I'm not understanding. Either way it goes, it's feminine because of ahruf being plural, not intellectual. So it says, and these ahruf al-mudara'a or mudari'a, they are the hamza, the noon, the ya, and the ta. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? I'm trying to get me another page here, but it's not giving me another page for some reason. On this computer, it's not letting me bring a page up, but I'll do this over here. For instance, we can have it say, Ya'kulu. If we look at the verbs, I gotta find a blank piece on my computer. It's not giving me the tab at the top to have a blank piece of paper. So give me a second here. Let me scroll down. What does that hamza, noon, ya, and ta mean? That if we look at any present tense verb, no matter which one it is, we'll look at ya'kulu. Ya'kulu, ta'kulu, right? Ta'kulu, ta'kulu, ta'kulina, right? Akulu. And we say yakuluna, right? Ya'kulna. We say ta'kulina or ta'kuluna. I know it's sloppy. Ta'kuluna, ta'kulna, and na'kulu. And even if we did the dual, in all of them, they either got a noon or a ta or a ya or a hamza. There's no other letter. If it begins with one of those four, then it's a good chance that it's a present tense verb. Now, those four could also be the actual part of the verb, the root of the verb, right? But no doubt that a present tense verb is going to start with one of those four letters, an aleph, a ta, a ya, or a noon.
So if it's part of it, the verb is still to be a present tense verb.
Well, let me see. Let me try to show you what I'm saying. Let me see here. We have, for instance, Taba. Right? Taba. Does it start with one of the huruf al-mudari'ah?
No.
Yes. Starts with a ta. Is it a present tense verb? No. Right? It's a past tense verb because ta is part of its root. Right? Ta, waw, ba. That's its root. Right? So it's not. But if I want to make it in the present tense, I say tatubu.
Okay.
So now, this is my harf. This is my harf mudari. This ta here. This ta is actual part of the word. But ta here is the ta of mudari, meaning present tense.
Just like that word we read a little while ago up there at the top there, somewhere had that tat something.
Right. So for instance, I'm trying to look here. We have, okay, for instance, nadafa or nadhif. This noon is a harf al-mudari. It is one of the ahruf al-mudari'ah. However, here, this noon is part of the three-letter root. Right? This noon here is part of nadafa, meaning to clean. Right? Whereas nunadhif would be, we have this noon which is part of it, but this noon is the harf al-mudari, and this noon here is the actual part of the word itself.
So
the jadr. Right, we are cleaning, right. This noon is part of the jadr, the root. Right? Jadr is the root. A root of a tree is a jadr. When you have a three-letter root, such as in akala, this is the jadr. Right? Masjid. Let me see if I can write it somewhere. Masjid. This is the word masjid, but the root is, the jadr is sin, jim, dal. That's how you're looking it up, by the jadr, by the root of it. You're going to look it up under sin, jim, dal. That's the jadr, or the root. So this noon is the part of the jadr, and this noon would be the harf al-mudari. Got it?
No.
Did I miss a rule here somewhere?
There's 5 of them.
Yeah, but I'm thinking there's got to be an amr somewhere. I'm looking for it. Okay, no, not yet. I didn't get it. I didn't miss it yet. Here's the rule coming up. Like I said, having this big file makes it hard. Okay. القاعدة السادسة, the sixth rule. فعل الأمر هو كل فعل يطلب به حصول شيء في زمن المستقبل. The فعل أمر, the command verb, command, and أمر, like أمر بالمعروف, to command with the good. The فعل أمر, the command, the verb of commanding. هو كل فعل, it is every verb. يطلب به, it is sought by it. يطلب, from like the word طالب, طالب, meaning talib is a student. He's seeking knowledge. He's searching for knowledge. He's requesting knowledge. يطلب به, it is sought with it or by it. This fi'l amr. حصول شيء, the obtainment of something, the doing of something. في زمن المستقبل, in the future. Right? A command verb is every verb which wants something to be done in the future. And as Sheikh Salam said, just like he said in the past tense, when we talked about the past tense, even if it was just 1 second ago, then the husulu shay fi zaman al-mustaqbil, the doing of something in the future, even if it's a second from now. So your kid is talking, you say, be quiet. You mean as soon as you say it, you want it to be done. Now you can't expect it to be done before you command it, because you didn't command it yet. But as soon as you say it, you want it to be done that much or that close to the future. Not 10 years from now, now. So that's the fi'l amr.
Zaman.
Every verb, which zaman means time or period.
Okay.
For instance, zaman al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, zaman al-Sahaba, the period, the time of the Sahaba, the time of the Prophet, the period of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
So exactly you wouldn't really translate that. You really wouldn't translate that in there because future, so the time of the future.
The future time, the future period, yeah, the future, في زمن المستقبل, in the, yeah, you don't have to. You could just say in the future in English, of course. Mm-hmm. But you could also say in the time frame, or however you wanted to say it. You could translate it if you wanted to somehow.
Yeah.
So that's what we have so far. We have, just real quick, we have a beneficial sentence, right? We have speech or beneficial sentence. And we said it is broken up into 3 parts, or it has parts. Those 3 parts are the ism, the fi'l, and the harf. We said the ism is something which names an object, a person, an animal, a plant, anything. It names something. A fi'l is something which has to do with achieving an action in a specific period of time. And a harf is something which we understand its meaning when it comes together inside of other words. Then we said that the fi'l is 3 types. Right? The fi'l is 3 types. The madi, the past tense, the mudari', the present tense, or the future as well, and the amr, which is the command. So something to be done in the future. Next, we have, it says fi'l here. Let's see what our rule is going to be. I'm scrolling. Give me a minute. القاعدة السابعة. الفاعل. الفاعل, which we would say the doer of the verb. The doer, the one who is doing the fi'l. اسم مرفوع تقدمه فعل. It is a nominative noun. Marfu in English means nominative, right? تقدمه فعل. A verb precedes it. تقدمه. A verb is preceding it. وَدَلَّ عَلَى الَّذِي فَعَلَ الْفِعْلَ. And it points to the one who did the verb. Al-fa'il, the doer of the verb. Right? It's marfu'. The fa'il is always going to be marfu'. And it's always going to come after a fi'l. After a noun, after a verb. So for instance, if we say Muhammad ذهب إلى السوق. Muhammad ذهب. Who's the one who went?
Muhammad.
Is he the fa'il?
Yeah.
In English, we might say yes. But in Arabic, we will say no. When we're breaking down this sentence, we're going to say no. Because the fa'il is always going to be preceded by a fi'l. So the way you would make it, Muhammad the fa'il, you would say ذهب محمد إلى السوق. Now here we have a جملة فعلية, a verbal sentence. Here, this is a nominal sentence, a جملة اسمية. جملة اسمية is made up of two things, as we're going to see. The ismiya, I really wish I had my chart here. Give me 1 second.
So what
1 second, I'm going to come out. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What is that saying then? Muhammad went to the, I guess that's
No.
what market.
It says exactly the same thing.
Okay.
However, grammatically, we would talk about it in a different way. So give me 1 second. Let me clear up a piece of paper. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
So it's saying the same thing. I guess both of them grammatically correct. The first one or the second one?
You guys hear me?
We hear you now.
Okay, I told you, give me 1 second, I had to go out.
I was talking to the sisters, man. Well, calm down.
What you talking to the sisters for, man? Talk your lot.
Yo.
Joking, man. I'm joking. Okay, now let's write these sentences again. I got my paper back now. I can draw. All right. Okay, Muhammadun ذهب إلى السوق. طيب. And then we have ذهب محمد إلى السوق.
So if it's gonna be marfu right there, should make Muhammad then?
Both of them are marfu'. Both of them. Okay, now let's look. This one here is a jumla ismiya. This one here is a jumla fi'liya. Now, we said here, if I go down again to the qaida, I don't understand what happened on the paper there, but give me a second. The qaida says it must be preceded by a verb. Right here it says that. Right? Now, Muhammad is not preceded. It started with a noun. A jumla ismiya and a jumla fi'liya. They're made up of two different parts. A jumla ismiya has a mubtada and a khabar. Right? A jumla fi'liya has a fi'l and a fa'il. Right? Now, Muhammad here in the first sentence, our jumla ismiya. Muhammad is the mubtada. We said Muhammad. Right? We said Muhammad. This is, now that's a mubtada, that's a noun. This is a mubtada, and the mubtada, as we're going to learn in a future, or we already learned it, but we're going to review it, is always marfu'. My internet went out for a second. So Muhammad is a mubtada. Right? ذهب إلى السوق. This whole thing is a khabar. What about Muhammad? Muhammad went to the suq. Now, inside of this khabar is a jumlatul fi'liya. Right? ذهب إلى السوق. He went to the suq. This is a whole nother breakdown. But right now, a jumlatul ismiya, we said, has a mubtada and a khabar. The mubtada is Muhammad. The khabar is ذهب إلى السوق. Now, we can also break that khabar down into more parts. Because it's not just one word. For instance, as we said Muhammad, if we said Muhammad Rasulun, Muhammad is a messenger. Now that's just two parts. We got our mubtada and our khabar. Simple. But this khabar became complex when it became another sentence inside of it. So grammatically, we're talking about grammatically. Now, meaning wise, both sentences mean the same thing.
Okay, so
unless you're using one or the other to emphasize. So for instance, the norm would be that you use the jumla fi'liya.
Okay.
Because that's just the norm. You want to put the fi'l in the file. However, for instance, if I say Men dhahaba ila suq, who went to the suq? You would say Muhammad dhahaba ila suq. Muhammad went to the suq. Now you're emphasizing Muhammad, so you brought Muhammad before the verb, and you brought me a jumlatu ismiya.
Oh, okay.
But normally, I would say ذهب Muhammad. So for instance, Allah says in the Quran in different places, He says, خلق الله السماوات والأرض. In other places it says Allah خلق السماوات والأرض. I did that backwards again. Right? Now what's the difference here? They both mean the same thing. But one is a jumlatul fi'liyya and one is a jumlatul ismiyya. This one is emphasizing the creation. Allah created the heavens and the earth. Can your gods that you worship create the heavens and the earth? You understand? So it's emphasizing the creation or that sifa of Allah that He created. Whereas the second sentence, Allah is emphasizing that Allah is the one who created. So here, the action of khalq is being emphasized, and here, the fact that Allah did it is being emphasized. So when we look over here, we could say, ذهب Muhammad ila suq. That's a normal sentence. Muhammad went to the market. But Muhammad ذهب ila suq, here you're emphasizing that it was Muhammad who went. If I say, Hassan ذهب ila suq, la, Muhammad, or we say, ذهب Hassan ila suq, la, Muhammad ذهب ila suq. So the first one I say, ذهب Hassanun ila suq. Hassan went. La. No. Muhammad ذهب. No, Muhammad went. So I'm emphasizing Muhammad. Now they mean the same thing.
No.
But in Arabic, we're going to talk about them in different ways. This Muhammad here is going to be our mubtada. And this Muhammad here is going to be our fa'il. It's explaining who did. In this sentence up here now, where we have ذهب إلى السوق, ذهب, he is built in. Muhammad, he went to the suq. Because ذهب means he went. Right? Just like ذهبت means I went. So ذهب means he went. So we say Muhammad, he went to the suq. Whereas in the bottom we say ذهب Muhammad. Muhammad went. We're not going to say he went because Muhammad is the fa'il clarifying who did it. Whereas ذهب, if we had just ذهب, then we don't have any clarification of who it is. And the fa'il we would say is mustatir, but this is in the future, we'll get there. Meaning it's hidden inside the verb. ذهب, he is hidden inside the verb itself. Right? So the fa'il is hidden inside the verb because ذهب means here. Versus if I say ذهبت, I went. And the fa'il is not hidden because the two is the fa'il here. That's saying I did it. But in ذهب, there is no fa'il that's written. Rather, it's hidden and built into the verb itself. You understand?
No.
So now that's where you're at. Huh?
The hepka, the hepti.
The hebta, the hebti, those are ta and t are the fa'il for you. The habat for the female is not a fa'il. This is the ta al-mu'annatha. This is the ta at-ta'nith, the one that shows that it's a woman.
Yeah.
And the fa'il, that's showing she, but the fa'il is still built in, is still hidden.
Yeah.
Ta is just showing you that what's hidden is a female.
No.
Because if you think about it, and you got to give me 1 second to add 5 minutes here. Give me a second. Hopefully I can get it done before it's over. If we look at this, for instance, let me write them down. ذهب ذهبت 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 ذهبتي, for instance. Okay. Now these are the ones. Okay, tu is my file.
Yeah.
Ta is my file. T is my file.
And
dhahaba, huh?
The T is for you female.
You female.
Okay.
Right?
But now the ta up there with the bet, they're just saying like she.
Right. But see, this
she.
ta, right, this ta is feminine. Just showing you that the one hidden is a female.
Yeah.
Because you and I, these are all known. If I say me, you, it's there. He or she, they're not here necessarily. Right? They're not in our conversation. So they are hidden. Right? They are hidden. So dhahabat, the fa'il is hidden, but the ta is showing you that what's hidden is a female. Whereas tu is showing you I, ta is showing you you masculine, t is showing you feminine.
Yeah.
So a fa'il is preceded by a fi'l. Let me see if we can get an example here. Probably need to go up. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Tara al-usfur, the bird or the sparrow flew. Jar al-hisan, the horse ran. La'iba al-walid, the boy played. Ya'umu samak, the fish swam, right? Or floated, whatever. Yalsa'u al-ba'ud, the mosquito stung or bit, whatever it does, right? And ta'kulu al-bint, right? The girl eats, or yeah, the girl eats. So all of these, al-usfur, al-hisan, al-walad, al-bint, al-ba'ud, al-samak, all of them are fa'ils. And all of them, as we see, are marfu' with a dhamma. Right? They're all marfu' and they're all files. They appear after a verb. Is that clear?
No.
Now, I'm just going to do one more just because I want to do the maf'ulun bihi with it. Let me see. Hopefully it won't take too long because we've been through this a lot. Let me go down to the qaida. Okay. Al-qaidatu thamina. Al-maf'ulu bihi ismun mansubun waqa'a alayhi fi'lul fa'il. The maf'ulun bihi, or the object of the verb, is a noun. Ismun is a noun. Mansub, accusative. Or for us right now, we would say with the fathas, right?
No.
Waqa'a alayhi fi'lul fa'il. The action of the doer falls on it. The action of the doer falls on it. Waqa'a is to fall. Waqa'a alayhi fi'lul fa'il. Now let's just look at that. Let's just look at the definition in light of what we're learning. Okay? Al-maf'ulu. This is the mubtada. It's marfu'. It's a noun. This is a jumla ismiya. This definition is a jumlatun ismiyatun. It is a nominal sentence. It begins with a noun. And we said a jumla ismiya has a mubtada and a khabar. Right? So al-maf'ulu, the mubtada is marfu'. Al-maf'ulu bihi, that's going to actually be the name. But we started out with al-maf'ulu, the noun. It's a mubtada. What about it? What's its khabar? Ismun. It is a noun. The maf'ulun bihi is a noun. Mansub and the khabar is marfu'. The mubtada and the khabar are both marfu'. Right? Now, ismun is a noun. So we said the object of the verb is a noun. Mansub. This is an adjective describing the noun. It is an accusative noun. وقع عليه فعل الفاعل. Okay, now this is information about that noun. وقع. This وقع is now a phrase describing the ism mansub. It's like an adjective describing it. However, it starts with a fi'l. وقع عليه فعل الفاعل. فعل is verb. And this is actually, and I hope you can understand me here. If you don't, let me know. Fi'l is actually the fa'il here because it's what's falling on it. The fi'lu is marfu'. It's the noun which follows the verb. Right? Because it's what's actually falling. The verb falls on it. The doer, the action of the fa'il. And then this is maf'ulun bihi. I mean, this is mudaf ilayh. Fi'lul fa'il is mudaf ilayh. So, when we have an example up above, such as shadda al-tilmidhu al-habla. Shadda is a verb, meaning to tighten. Al-tilmidhu is the fa'il. This is a fi'l, past tense. Tilmid is the fa'il. Al-habla is the maf'ulun bihi, mansub. The student tightened the rope. Whenever we see a sentence begin with a verb, or basically whenever we see a verb, for instance, where's this at? Whenever we see a verb, even in here, this sentence began with a noun. Muhammad dhahaba. But inside this sentence is another sentence. Like we would say in English, a phrase. We need to look for the fa'il. Anytime we see a verb, we need to look for the fa'il. Right? Who is the fa'il in dhahaba? He. It's hidden. Here, shadda. It's a verb. What is it? First thing we're going to do, we're going to figure out what kind of verb is it. Is it a past, a present, or a command verb? And present, future are the same. So we say, no, this is a past tense verb. Okay, now we figure that out. Next thing we need to figure out, what is the fa'il? Is it hidden or is it announced? Here, it's hidden. I mean, it's announced. It's al-tilmidu, marfu'. And then we can say, does it have an object, a maf'ulun bihi? Because not all verbs have to have a maf'ulun bihi. Not all of them have to have it. So what did they tighten? He tightened al-habla, the rope. Al-habla, the object of the tightening. The object of the tightening is going to be the rope. As we see here, وقع عليه فعل الفاعل. The action of the doer fell upon it. So in that sentence up there, the action is shadda, to tighten, right? And what did that fall on? It fell on the rope. Right? That's the first 8 qawaid, and we did about 30 something. So if we take this pace, we're gonna take 3 or 4 classes, but I think maybe it'd be helpful. Allah knows best. Go back, watch the videos, get the links, watch them, do the exercises in the book, print it out. If you don't, go online, buy the actual book so you can write in it, whatever the case is. But this is something that you're going to need to do. Now, as we said, for us, we might ذهب Muhammad wa Muhammad ذهب خلق Allah, Allah خلق. As long as I understand Allah created, that's great. As long as I understand Muhammad went, that's great. Whether ismiya, fi'liya, fa'al, fa'al, maf'ul bi, man, as long as I understand the sentence, that's the important part. Yes, that's true for now. But in the future, you're going to read and you're going to be paying attention. You're going to see خلق الله السماوات والأرض, and then you're going to see next page Allah خلق السماوات. Why is it this way and that way? Why is Allah first? Why is خلق second? And so on and so forth, and vice versa. You're going to want to know the difference, and there's a reason for it. And the more you know, then the better you're going to understand the Quran and the Sunnah, and the better you're going to be able to pronounce words. So, for instance, if I were to write, for instance, I want to write that just like that, you should be able to say shadda at-tilmidu al-habla. You recognize shadda as a verb. Let's say a different one. Let's get a different one. Maybe habla and shadda you're not familiar with. So we say what is walid? What is walid? Is it marfu', mansub, majroor? Which one is it?
It is mansub.
Walid?
It's the fa'il.
Yeah, fa'il is marfu'.
Marfu'.
Be a dhamma on it.
Yeah.
It'd be a dhamma. Akala al-waladu. Akala al-waladu. He's the doer.
I got it mixed up from way out.
You got the name mixed up.
Yeah.
No problem. And a tamar is going to be mansub or marfu or what?
With the fatah. So
it's going to be a fatah. Mansub.
Mansub.
He ate the date. The boy ate the date. So you know how to say this sentence even without the vowels.
Okay, that's mansub and marfu.
That's marfu. So now you can start to read a book without vowels. So we say, i'lam, rahimakallah, i'lam. How do I know this is i'lam with a sukoon? Because it's a fil amr. And as we go into fil amr, we're going to see that it is mansub. It's majzoom. It's majzoom. It has a sukoon on it. So I know i'lam. I know to put that sukoon on the meme. Rahimakallah. What goes on Allah? Is it Rahimakallah ha, Rahimakallahu, or Rahimakallahi? Which one is it? First off, before you answer, is it hu, he, or ha? Dhamma, kasra, fatha. What is the meaning of Rahimakallah?
Rahimakallah. Well, with this here, it sounds funny.
Well, that's the beginning of all of the books.
Itlam?
Rahimakallah. No, Rahmatullah is mercy of Allah. Rahmatullah.
I'm talking about.
The sister said it. The sister said, let me answer the sister. You was talking to the sisters. Chill out. Okay, let's get a different word real quick. radiyallahu anhu. How do I know it's radiyallahu? What does radiyallahu anhu mean?
Radiyallahu anhu. Allah bless you.
First off, radiyallahu anhu. Him. May Allah be pleased with him. Radiya is may Allah be pleased with him. Radiya is pleasure, please.
Okay.
It's pleasing or pleasure. Radiya, rida. For Allah to be pleased with him. Now, we're asking Allah to be pleased with him. Actually, the sentence says Allah is pleased with him. But it's a dua, right? It's a dua, but the sentence actually says Allah is pleased with him, right? But we mean by that, right? We mean by that, may Allah be pleased with him, right? Rahimakallah. Now I'm going to help you, and we're going to go back to our question. Is it Allahu, Allaha, or Allahi? Rahimakallah means may Allah have mercy on you. It actually means Allah had mercy on you. But it's a dua. So we say Rahimakallah. Right? Now is it Rahimakallahu, Rahimakallaha, or Rahimakallahi?
Who?
Why?
Because he's the doer. The fa'il.
Because it's the fa'il. Exactly.
But now
so
okay, I'm getting lost with i'lam.
I'lam is no. No, we already talked about that. That's a fi'l amr. That's a command verb telling you, you should know. I'lam. Rahimakallah. And the nawaqid al-Islam, asharat al-nawaqid. That the no, may Allah have mercy on you. That the nullifiers of Islam are 10. I'lam. Rahimakallah. أنه يجب علينا التعلم أربع مسائل. That it know, may Allah have mercy on you, that it's obligatory upon us to know 4 issues.
Yeah, okay. But see, that is okay. But I thought you were saying it was a dua.
No, Rahimakallah is a dua. I'lam is the beginning of the treatise.
Okay.
And the point is now you can read I'lam Rahimakallah without vowels. You don't need the sukoon here. You don't need the I'lam. You don't need all that because you know how to make a command verb. Rahimakallah. You don't need it to say Rahimakallah. You don't need all those verbs. Because you know the word Rahima Yarhamu. You studied that. You know Rahima Yarhamu. So you know how the verb conjugates. And ka is always going to be ka. And Allah, you know that you're asking Allah to have mercy. So since He's going to be the fa'il, you know it's going to be marfu'. So you know to put a dhamma there. Right? An-Nahw yajibu. Right? And you know this because you're going to study how to conjugate present tense verbs. Yajibu, alayna. You know how to do all that without verbs. Ta'allamu. What is obligatory? Ta'allamu. Learning is obligatory. Right? Arba'i masail. So on and so forth. You're figuring out how to do this so you can start to read the books without vowels. Because now you know the fa'il is marfu', the mubtada, the khabar is marfu', this is this is that. That's the purpose of learning this. Alright, inshallah ta'ala, we'll meet tomorrow with 40 hadith. Maybe we'll get some examples from what we've taken today, and then we'll meet next week with al-Wadih bi'idhnillah. Jazakumullahu khairan wa iyaakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.